Good evening, everyone. Hi, friends. So it's snack time. So let's grab a quick bite and unwrap our minds to explore the nuances of GERD. So, like a total wrap may cause bloating and discomfort, a partial, as shown in the picture, may cause some spillover. So, but I have no disclosures to share, whether it's MACD or any financial company. So GRD is a global problem. The highest incidence in Europe, Middle East, Australia, North America, and South America, and least in East Asia. As per the latest epidemiological data, the incidence has increased from 11% to 15% in India, from where I come from. I'm Dr. Thapar, Chief of Minimal Invasive Surgery at Jupiter Hospital, Thane. It's a tertiary referral center catering to a population of 20 million. And apart from the routine complex gallbladders, hernias, bariatric HPBs, ARS is one of our passionate surgeries. I'm the director of the teaching program over there. And happy to be here, thanks to SAGES. So in the next few minutes, let's understand the why, who, and when of fundoplication. Also, I'll be coupling the talk with global outcomes and recommendations. So as per all the global associations, GI associations, they all have unanimously stated that fundoplication is the mainstay of therapy for patients who have symptomatic GERD as compared to long-term PPI. Now today we are not going to discuss about anterior fundoplication, that is DOR, as shown in the picture down, because this is not an ideal technique for GERD. It's best suited for post-cardiomyotomy. I'll be discussing the nuances between total fundoplication, 360, as well as the partial 270. So the causes of failure are imperfect or inappropriate patient selection. One has to rule out acid hypersensitivity, NERD, as well as erosive esophagitis. The ideal candidates for fundoplication are persistent, troublesome GERD symptoms, severe esophagitis, LAC and D, large hiatus hernia, and refractory GERD. SAGES has recommended 3 mandate tests before you embark on surgery. The first is endoscopy. Photo documentation of these is very much essential, and those patients who have LAC and D can skip pH metry. Otherwise, pH metry is also done in all patients. Higher the trimester score, higher the reflux. In high-resolution manometry, one has to understand not just the ineffective motility, but also the esophagogastric junction, contractility index, and transient lower esophageal sphincter relaxation time. It's done in all patients, manometry. So the open era witnessed a lot of complications of fundoplication, and then came laparoscopic data from 1991 till 1997. Within few years, fundoplication became the mainstay of therapy, and Nissens became the gold standard. However, within the first decade, reports emerged of complications of dysphagia, gas bloat, and inability to belch. And then the European surgeons thought of alternative technique for fundoplication, and that's how 270-degree Toupet came into picture, and today it has emerged one of the main alternatives for fundoplication. So I'll be showing a short video of partial fundoplication. The initial steps remain same. Patient is in reverse Trendelenburg position. That's the port position. The most important thing is good esophageal lengthening. Each step is important, by the way. So once we open the Kussner's window, we have to identify the right crus. And then retroesophageal tunnel is made. The vagus is lifted along with the esophagus over here. All the adhesions posteriorly are cleared. The left crus dissection can also be done through the right side itself. And optimum mediastinal dissection is required for a good intra-abdominal esophageal length, which should be more than 3 centimeters. Now, preserving the anterior vagus, dissection is done to clear the greater curvature of stomach and further delineation of left crus. Some more dissection in the retroesophageal tunnel. Lot has been discussed about division of short gastrics. I personally believe in doing it because it helps in a proper wrap. The wrap should not be very tight or twisted. And the proper lie of the fundoplication is important to prevent post-operative complications. So this is the last bit of short gastrics, clearing from the left crus. And conventional Schuhschein maneuver. I believe in photo documentation and identification of the length of intra-abdominal esophagus and not an arbitrary measurement. So cruroplasty forms an integral part of prevention of reflux. It should be staggering sutures, non-absorbable, typically 3 or 4 sutures are required. They shouldn't be very tight. And then the wrap. So this is one technique of fixation where we can take sutures from the esophagus to the crura and back to the stomach. So same procedure is repeated on the other side. If the patient has large hiatus hernia, patient will be having a lot of pad of fat in the Belsey pad of fat, which needs to be excised, and the sac needs to be excised. So again here for fundoplication, 3 or 4 sutures are required. The lowest stitch is at the level of G junction. And then the fixation of the entire wrap with the crura again posteriorly. So that should be the end of the fundoplication, the ideal way to do it. Now coming to total fundoplication, the initial steps remain same. Floppy wrap is essential. The length of the wrap shouldn't be more than 3 cm because it can cause dysphagia. And you can see how loose the wrap is. The first stitch I take from the seromuscle of the esophagus. Again, typical 3 or 4 sutures are required. And then fixation of the whole fundoplication posteriorly with the crura. One can pass an instrument in between the wrap as well as the esophagus to confirm the wrap is not very tight. So let's revisit the outcomes. Way back in 2010, Broders published in British Journal of Surgery a RCT of seven RCTs and 400 patients in each limb. And it was reported that the patients who have undergone Nissen's fundoplication have increased risk of dysphagia, more re-interventions, and inability to belch. Also, the latest meta-analysis published in 2023 has analyzed both short-term as well as long-term outcomes of Nissen's as well as Toupet fundoplication, and they've analyzed 600 patients in each limb. The outcomes of these studies has shown that both these surgeries are efficacy-wise same with respect to patients' symptoms of reflux episodes, heartburn, chest pain, and also it is objectively proved by doing a Demestre score, which remains same for both the patients. So what is the difference? The difference comes that patients with Nissen's fundoplication, not all, but some of them, come with a baggage of new symptoms. They have a return gift of dysphagia, inability to belch, and gas bloat. Even the LES pressure is more with patients who have undergone Nissen's fundoplication as compared to partial fundoplication. Even in my own personal series of 60+ patients, I have noticed that some patients do keep on coming back to the OPD again and again. So I have moved towards partial, and I found good results, good quality of life with partial. So now coming to some special scenarios. If a patient has undergone fundoplication in the past, it's a revision surgery. Already, as you can notice here, there is a lot of fibrosis and scarring. So in such scenarios, it's ideal not to do a total wrap to prevent post-op dysphagia. We saw some good videos in the morning by Dr. Christine of redo fundoplications. Here I'm separating the fundus from the esophagus. The initial steps remain same, a good intra-abdominal length. And then in such scenarios, one should do a partial 270. Another scenario is elderly above 65 and patients with disordered motility. In all these patients, the recommendation globally is to do a posterior fundoplication. So thus, friends, with a sound clinical judgment, we need to discuss with the patient about the patient preferences and values, and with relevant scientific data, my recommendation is to do a partial fundoplication as compared to total, because the overall patient's outcome is better and patient is much more satisfied. There's less symptoms of new symptoms like dysphagia and gas bloat. Thank you for your patient listening. With compassion, we can smooth the soothing of pain and suffering. Thank you.